it's the grand final. This guy's playing it right here. I'm calling it. This is just a weird dynamic shift for the viewers at home. Darren Corstens, who's got the better mustache out of the two of us, do you think?
I think you might, buddy. I think my lip luggage isn't quite as good as yours. I think you got me covered.
They're both pretty good though. Like it's a good little
Yeah, I know. It's just,
what inspired the mustaches amongst the group this year?
I'd be lying if I didn't say Jake. I saw what kind of face furniture he was rocking, and I was like, I would get on that straight away and start a bit of a trend, and here we are. Seize the moment.
The mustache line has been grooving this year. That was when did that adjustment sort of happen? I know it happened mid-season, but what did it feel good right away when you were put with Johan Levesque and Jake Riley?
Yeah, so I think it happened probably. I reckon it was probably round 3 or 4 during the season. I think it was against Brisbane, and we were just trying to do something different, and we just wanted to get Jake firing a little bit. And I think off the back of that, look, it took a game or two to sort of get used to each other, but Jake's an easy guy to play with, and Yoey's, the guy's just a natural goal scorer. You throw the puck in his direction, and it's probably going in, right? So, yeah, look, it sort of happened around then, and honestly, it's been a breeze. Like, there's been a lot of communication between each other, which has helped. So, no, it's been fantastic and a privilege to play with those two.
How do you think you and Jake in particular complement each other?
Well, I think, Jake he's just an X factor player, right? You give him the puck and he's able to do something. And I think what's really impressive to see over the course of the year is just how he's sort of evolved as a player. Is, instead of coming down and doing the odd man rush from time to time, I think he's sort of working harder and battling in the corners, which is making myself and Yoey's job a lot easier. And he knows that I'm always there, and he'll trust that I'll give the puck back to him, which is exactly what's going to happen, and vice versa with Yoey. So I think it's kind of just naturally evolved from those sorts of things and just getting used to playing with each other.
So it's been a bit of an interesting time for Darren Corstens, I suppose, because if we go back in the timeline, in the what was it, in 2013 and 2014, you were playing on Team Australia. Like, for some new fans, they're like, who's this guy? But for people that know, you were on Team Australia. So that's one thing. And then you played at Adrenaline. Your last full season was 2017 or 16, one of those years. Yeah. And the next year you played one game and you said, nah, just don't have the spark, not playing it. So I guess the first part is why just stop hockey when you were just, 26, 27 years old that first time around?
Yeah, I think for me it was probably twofold. I think you're right. The spark sort of ran out a little bit for myself for whatever reason, and off the back of that as well, I did have a couple of injuries here and there, which sort of put me out the game for a while, and I think that's kind of what forced me to stop playing. And it's been nearly 6 years now since I played any sort of high level hockey, and it's coming back I've had a lot of thought about why I'd want to come back and play, and the spark wasn't necessarily there straight away, but having that chat with Sammy and Greg at the start of the season, and just what their expectations of me potentially coming back would be, and they said, look, if anything, you've had the likes of Greg Oddie and Josh Harding and Huxley, as leaders and that type of experience over the years, and what they've given me. So if I could sort of grab some of that and soak that experience in and relay it to a team in any form, that was kind of the goal from the outset at the start of the season.
It's kind of weird, right? Because, last year, the last 12 months or 14 months now, it'd been a big rejuvenation in ice hockey, right? You had that COVID year and the Premier League was firing, but you weren't playing. And then the NHSL came along and that was packed, but you weren't playing. And then all of a sudden you were just here. So when you were showing up for that first road trip in Melbourne, I remember having a great chat with you after, but when you were showing up for that first road trip in Melbourne, were you in your mind committed to the full season at the time, or was it let's see how the first couple weekends go and go from there?
To be completely honest with you, it's the thought went through early on. It happened before the season. So I wanted to be. I didn't want to commit and then flake out in the start of the season, and that's just not going to do anyone any favors. Like I mentioned, I had that chat with Sammy and Greg at the start, and I said, look, I want to be fully involved and committed, and what do you expect of myself? And we had that candid chat, and off the back of that, there was a couple of things. I didn't know if I'd be fit enough or skillful enough to play, and I've been fortunate enough to be on the team, and I think, yeah, look, the commitment was there from the outset, and how receptive everyone was of each other at the start of the season. New players coming in, guys coming in from WA, young guys, old guys. I think, how receptive they were, and the accountability that we started to form before the season, and that it was almost like a standard mentality, like we're setting a standard, and this is the accountability of each other. And it didn't matter if you're old or young, it was always there. And I think from the outset, that was really appealing to me. And I think what started to relight the fire, and it was well before the start of the season, I could feel that sort of brewing, for the start of the season.
I guess you don't really know until it's all kind of in game action. And then we had that first weekend in Melbourne. We lost 2 games, but you were pumped at the airport after. It was like I could tell the spark was back. Did you feel that as soon as you were playing?
Yeah, well, look, like when you're playing with guys nearly half your age, it's just amazing to play with those guys. They kind of make you feel young again, and they bring a new life and a new energy to the game that I probably hadn't had for a while. And yeah, it definitely was back after that game, and I could feel it. And we lost those goals, we lost those games by 1 goal, and it was those little things. And I think we kept that accountability going. To the middle of the season, and those 1 goal games eventually started turning into, all of a sudden the 1 goal games were in our favor, and we started getting those W's in OT, and we're coming from behind and winning, and you could feel the tides changing. And it all comes from the first round and having that mindset, and before the season, it's just been fantastic.
And like every team has a different vibe to it, and next year the vibe will be different. The last year you played it was different, but like what makes this vibe amongst the group special for you to go and play hockey with?
For me personally, I think it's just from the management to the coaching to the players, it's an all-in mentality. You can feel it, like it just keeps going back to, it doesn't matter who you are or how old you are. You can say what you feel, and you're not going to be judged by it. It's happening off the ice, and it's happening on the ice. We're doing all the little things in the 1%ers, and I think that all-in mentality is really, it's really grown over the season, and we've developed as a team and learned as a team. We're still quite young, and we're all sort of learning from each other. And I think that's kind of where it stemmed from. So yeah, it's great.
Was there a moment for you with this playing group, whether it be a win or a loss or a moment or a game, where you're like, okay, I can feel it turning here. This team's figuring out how to win?
Yeah, I honestly think it was probably I can't remember exactly what round it was, but I think it was we ended up coming back from a 1 goal down, and I think we tied it up and then got the W late, and that happened over the course of a few weeks. And I think you could feel like I said, the tides turning a little bit for us, and we were learning from those mistakes early on in the season, and building off of that. And it's eventually developed. And I think a good reflection of that is Saturday night, and just how dominant and how all in everyone was with each other. And here we are with a 3-game series against the Ducks.
Yeah, you weren't even in the lineup on Saturday night. Like, what was the feelings watching that game? Was it obviously you wish you were there, but it would have been a weird one to watch.
Honestly, anyone that was around me, I was like, don't talk. I just need to sit and watch this. I was for myself. Look, I tend to not get too nervous before games for whatever reason, but that was one game where the nerves were really apparent at the start of the game. And for me personally, the guys did such a great job of easing those nerves early on, because they got such a hot start. And look, I think it just goes to show that it's, doesn't matter who's playing out there. It's just, we're getting the job done, which is the main thing.
Was it a nervous energy also because you're like, no, I don't want my last game to be played this season. Like I need another one.
Well, yeah. I mean, the mindset is we're winning that championship. We're taking what's ours. That's what we want, and we're ready to go to war this coming Saturday, Sunday, and whatever it has. But yeah, where our mindset has always been that, and that's our end goal, and that's what we aim to do. So absolutely don't want to, don't want it to be until we get that 2-0 or, win. And yeah, it's going to be, yeah, looking forward to it.
And who on the is there any of the rookies or any people that has kind of impressed you at their first National League level where you're just like, holy shit, I wasn't like this when I was a rookie?
Oh, all of them.
Yeah.
I think like, look, it's hard
It's
to
hard to
pick
pick.
because it's like,
There's not
I
really a
had the
superstar line, right? Like it's like
there's
how do
not.
you single
It's
out?
exactly right. And I think, like, there's this, even, I mean, we've been short on defense pretty much for the whole year, and then there was a point where we're rolling 4D at one point, and we've had the luxury of Jamie Woodman providing advice for guys like Hazel and Chen, who, since the start of the season, just seeing their development over, the course of 10 weeks has been phenomenal. And then you've got guys like Noah. I was at the, I was fortunate enough to train with the extreme team a couple of times in the NHSL, and watching him from then and just developing over the course of then and to now, it's just really impressive to see. It really is hard to pick one player because it's just unfolding as it's, in front of your eyes with all of them.
So the championship this weekend, 3 games. I feel like some of these kids, man, this is now just like normal for them. They're like, yeah, first year playing national comp, gonna go right to the championship. But for other guys like yourself, I mean, you've been on a championship team before, but that was over a decade ago. For Stevie Best, he's never been there before and been involved for a decade. Joey McDougall's been around for 5 or 6 years. Like, these moments don't just come, and it's here now. So, are you just trying to take it as much as you can?
Look, if someone asked me that, in 2012, if my next playoff was going to be 10 years from now in 2022, with a, Adelaide Avalanche, I'd be calling you a liar. I just wouldn't believe it. I honestly, if it's taught me anything, it's, take advantage of the moment that you have in front of you. And I think, these guys are super aware of the situation, and yeah, like I mentioned, Saturday was a classic example of that. And absolutely, I'll be, taking every bit of it this coming weekend.
Anyone? We'll wrap it up right now. Anyone you just want to kind of like thank for the season at all this year?
Oh, honestly, I just want to thank everyone. I want to thank the fans. Have been massive. The home crowd. People that are traveling with us. It's a huge commitment for people to come over. The management. We haven't had a big management group, but guys like yourself, Eric, Sharps, Greggy, Dino, all these sorts of guys have had such a huge input and put so much towards the team. So, management, coaching group, it's just been, for me personally, one of the best years that I've had with hockey, and it's all thanks to, the whole community.
Well, it's been a lot of fun. Let's get it done in Melbourne.
Let's go.